Hello everyone. This is a video tutorial on how to write an introduction paragraph for an argumentative research paper. The first part of your introduction paragraph is going to be your attention grabber. You're always going to grab their attention first, or that's the goal. I'm giving two examples of attention grabbers. You only need one, although sometimes you might combine a little bit of the types together. That's okay too. What you don't need is like just two entirely different attention grabbers like I'm showing you. I just wanted to give examples of different types, and this should connect to the worksheet that you had earlier in the week with your attention grabbers. So my first example is a short anecdote, so a short story, and my topic was about how teenagers use online media to become politically informed. Okay, so here's my story. Last fall, my sister and I were discussing how much fake news is consumed online. She told me that all my students have iPhones, and so they were naturally reading Apple News every day, just like she does, because you have to swipe past it on your phone to get to anything. I responded by saying, I don't think that's what my students do. I had other ideas about how students learned about current events. Case in point, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen students trying to learn about candidates or current events by looking up memes. During the presidential election of 2016, I had several students looking up the candidates along with the word meme, and when I asked them what they were doing, they told me they were catching up on news. Okay, so that's my anecdote. This is the only place where first person is really acceptable, but if you're telling an actual personal story, then you want to use first person. Otherwise, don't use it in the rest of your paper. I eventually asked my students later if they had Apple News, and they were like, what? You don't have to swipe past that. So I don't know what my sister was thinking. I don't know. Okay. All right, here's my attention grabber example number 2, and this was a statistic, but then I used a transition sentence to go into what my thesis statement was. Okay, so here's another example of an attention grabber. In a given week, a teenager is more likely to share a factually inaccurate political meme with their friends than a legitimate news article. Okay, so that's my statistic. And then adults are viewing the way that teenagers become politically informed as a problem. And that's where I'm transitioning to get a little bit closer to what my thesis statement is. Uh, in this case, you would want to cite this if you're using data like that. So just putting that out there, I didn't, but you need to. All right, then in your introductory paragraph, you have a thesis statement. This was mine. In the United States, teenagers are increasingly accessing their news from a variety of online sources and are more likely to find their news online than students in other countries. At the same time, over half of American teenagers are not actively involved in following current events or political perspectives. Okay, so that's my thesis statement. That's the argument I'm making in this paper. This was actually a paper I was writing for a class last year, so you're kind of stuck with it. Sorry. And then the next part of the paper is previewing the main points of the paper. So, in order to explore how American teenagers access news online compared with other countries, first, background information will be explored. Second, current American statistics will be analyzed and compared with other countries. And third, reasons for the differences will be explained. And that should be close to the way that you're outlining your main argument. So you could put something similar to that. Also, you don't need to label each of these parts. Accidentally wrote it twice. Okay. So I have an example of what this actually looks like when you put this together. Okay. So I have my statistic, I have my transition statement, I have my thesis statement, and my thesis statement in this case is 2 sentences long, and that's okay. You probably don't want it to be longer than that, but 2 is okay. 1 is okay too, also. And then I preview my main points. So that's your introductory paragraph. I hope that's helpful. If you need any extra help or you want me to look over what you have, just send me an email. Thanks, everyone.